You pressed buy now. You saw the price. You typed in your card number, waited for the spinning wheel, and got the confirmation. The movie was yours. The album was yours. The book, filed under your account with your name attached, was yours. There was a small, clean satisfaction in that. The same one your grandmother felt when she slid a record into a paper sleeve and placed it on a shelf she owned, in a house she owned, alongside other things she had bought and intended to keep forever. That was 3 years ago. The movie is gone. You did not delete it. You did not lose it. The company decided it was no longer available in your region. And the license, the thing you actually purchased, which was never the movie, was quietly revoked. You paid. The receipt still exists in your email. The movie does not exist anywhere you can reach. For 6,000 years of recorded human civilization, ownership was the foundation on which every legal system rested. You work, you acquire, you possess. Not a promise, not an access token. A thing. Yours. Something in the last 30 years built an entire economy on the quiet deletion of that concept, without a vote, without a warning, without most people noticing until the thing they had paid for was already gone. In 1765, an English legal scholar named William Blackstone published his commentaries on the laws of England. The work became the foundational text of property law across the entire English-speaking world, the legal bedrock of the United States, Canada, Australia, and most common law nations. Blackstone defined the right of property as that sole and despotic dominion which one man claims and exercises over the external things of the world, in total exclusion of the right of any other individual in the universe. Sole, despotic, total exclusion. The language was extreme because the concept required extremity. Ownership was the wall between you and everyone else. Not a preference, not a setting you could toggle off. For 2 centuries, that definition held. You bought a book. The book was yours. A publisher could not knock on your door and reclaim it because a revised edition was profitable. A record company could not reach into your home and erase the vinyl because streaming had become more efficient. Physical objects have weight, and that weight was legal armor. What you paid for stayed where you put it indefinitely by right. Then came digital, sold correctly as liberation. No more discs to scratch, no more shelves of cassette tapes collecting dust, your entire library in a device the size of your palm. The convenience was real. The terms of trade were not disclosed. In 2000, the economist Jeremy Rifkin, a senior lecturer at the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania, published a book called The Age of Access. His argument was direct. The shift from industrial capitalism to network capitalism would transform the relationship between people and things. In the old economy, goods changed hands. In the new economy, producers would retain ownership while consumers paid for access, time-limited, condition-dependent, revocable at the discretion of the supplier. Rifkin framed this as the emerging logic of a new capitalism. He was right about the direction. He was less explicit about what the structure resembled from history. Here is what he did not say clearly enough. In July 2009, Amazon reached into the Kindle devices of paying customers and deleted 2 books without warning. The titles were George Orwell's 1984 and Animal Farm. Amazon had distributed versions it did not have the rights to sell. The solution was simple. Enter customers' private devices and remove what they had purchased. Refunds were processed automatically. The books vanished overnight from libraries people had built and paid for. The press observed the specific irony of the titles chosen. Amazon issued an apology. The technical architecture that made the deletion possible was left completely intact. That same year, in federal court in New York, the case of Capitol Records LLC versus Redigi made the underlying legal reality explicit. Redigi was a marketplace for secondhand digital music. A customer bought a song on iTunes, no longer wanted it, and sold it to another person through Redigi's platform. Capitol Records sued. The court sided with Capitol. A purchaser of a digital file does not own the file. They own a license. A license is not property under copyright law. It cannot be resold, inherited, or transferred. The right your grandmother exercised every time she sold a paperback at a garage sale or passed a record to her sister, that right has no equivalent in the digital economy. You paid for one thing, you were given something else, and no one explained the difference at the point of sale. In 2013, Adobe Systems stopped selling Photoshop, not the software, the concept of selling it. After 3 decades of packaged software that professionals could purchase once and own without further obligation, Adobe moved everything to a monthly subscription. Pay or the application stops working. 30 years of professional photography, graphic design, and video production became contingent on a recurring charge that Adobe controls, that Adobe can raise, that Adobe can restructure at any time. The software did not change. The relationship did. Autodesk followed. Intuit followed. Microsoft followed. The model spread across every layer of software, media, and working infrastructure. And then there was John Deere. In 2015, the John Deere company filed arguments with the United States Copyright Office, claiming that farmers who purchase John Deere tractors do not own the software embedded in those machines, because modern agricultural equipment runs on code. Engine management, transmission control, diagnostics. And because the farmer does not own that code, the farmer cannot repair his own tractor. He cannot hire a local mechanic. He must use an authorized John Deere service center at John Deere's rates, on John Deere's schedule, during planting season, while the crop window closes and the harvest waits. John Deere won that argument. Farmers across Kansas, Iowa, Nebraska, and Illinois, who had spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on equipment, held those machines the way their great-great-grandparents held rented farmland. In fief, that phrase is not decorative. It is the precise historical term. In medieval Europe, from roughly the 9th century through the 15th, almost no working farmer in the agricultural economy owned the land he worked. He held it. The lord retained legal dominion. The tenant paid in labor, in grain, in fees levied for the use of the lord's mill, the lord's road, the lord's bridge. Default meant eviction. There was no recourse. The arrangement was not a sale. It was permission, granted by one party, revocable by one party, at terms set by one party. The digital economy did not build a new form of commerce. It rebuilt an old one, updated the vocabulary, and called it access. You now pay monthly for music, for film, for the software that your work depends on, for the cloud storage where your documents live, for the navigation app that knows where you sleep. Stop paying. The music stops. The files become read-only. The data is locked behind a paywall you built yourself. One monthly charge at a time. You were never a customer who owned a product. You were a tenant. And tenants, throughout the entire history of that institution, can be evicted. The platform is the landlord. The subscription is the tithe. The terms of service, those documents you clicked through in under 3 seconds on a Tuesday afternoon. Those are the articles of tenure. Blackstone's Wall, dismantled one end-user license agreement at a time, is gone. Your grandmother's record is still on someone's shelf somewhere. It still plays. No one can enter that house and take it. The album you purchased last year exists only while you keep paying for the privilege of accessing it. The button still says, "Buy now." Something underneath that button changed decades ago. There was no announcement, no warning label, no line in the fine print that said, "This time, the word means something different." You know what it doesn't mean anymore. Most people stop right there. A few go looking for when exactly the word changed and who decided it should.